Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Darth Cinema, and welcome back to episode 2 of Did Ya Hate It? I know it's been a while since the first one, but we finally managed to get in contact with Max again. Max, hello, welcome.
Hello, and I feel welcome. Thank you for the warm embrace.
Well, I felt like I had a gun to my head for this movie. A warm embrace felt like a knife in my back. Anyway, so since I chose Frankenstein's Army for poor Max to watch for the first episode, I found out he's still carrying that grudge. He picked a Netflix movie,
which is bad enough. You know that's not
bad
going to
enough. Like, this is making me seriously question the money I'm putting towards a Netflix subscription. I'm going, bar's pretty low to get a movie in there. But yeah, why don't you tell them about the movie you so generously brought to the table?
Let's see. It's completely void of filmmaking skill, and I would say morally repugnant. Even if it were a well-made film, it would be morally repugnant.
Like, there are examples of very well done amateur films or amateur films that exhibit some level of competency. This is not one of them.
Well, no, I mean, first of all, you have to have a basic understanding of how to put a movie together. What with there being sound and camera work.
And emotion?
Emotion is good, yes. Emotion is... See, like, if you're running like a Star Trek film or a series, then you can hire a few shitty actors because you can never tell if a Vulcan is a good actor or just garbage, because all they have to do is stand there and just say their words. But with this, everyone was just... I question whether there was a director for real. Like, there's a director, but was he really directing? Because how many people were just saying their lines wrong? And you're like, the very first line, the guy's talking about his sister, and he's supposed to say, and you know, Tara being Tara, she did this. But no, he reads it all like, well, there are no commas. Tara being Tara, she did this. And you're like, Jesus, kid, it's your first fucking line.
First line, and you
Come on. And then there's just, so like the morally repugnant aspect, do we want to get into just yet what the plot is?
Yeah, let's give a brief synopsis of like kind of what this movie is about before we really get angry, because I feel like by the end of this, I'm going to be screaming at you like, what have you done to me?
Okay, well, it's every slasher movie ever made by people who don't know how to make slasher movies. In that, hey, how about a bunch of attractive young people go into a building, but the building's haunted and something supernatural picks them off one by one. It's that movie. But but it's also, what if we take a real life horrific tragedy and turn it into entertainment? What if we take one of the most famous family annihilations of American history and turn it into our quirky little horror movie that has no other personality to it whatsoever?
Literally, that is the only thing that people go like, oh, I've heard of this. Maybe this movie might be good.
Is this a movie about Lizzie Borden? No, you're just turning a horrible mass murder scenario into some sort of, I was going to say fun, but not even really.
It's not even fun. No. There are bad horror movies that are fun. Alien vs. Predator by Paul W.S. Anderson, that was stupid. It's a bad movie. It's still fun. It's Jason X, stupid movie, stupid premise, still kind of fun.
Oh, Jason X was a lot of fun. I love that movie.
It's like every horror franchise, you at least have, even the worst movie has some sort of entertainment value. And even movies I genuinely hate, Like, I do not like Justice League at all, but I will still admit, yeah, there are some good moments to it. There's really not a movie that I full on despise. Even Frankenstein's Army, the one you hated so much.
You're just saying that now. You're just saying words, but it's very difficult. It is so difficult to make a movie and fail at every moment.
Yeah,
because there's so many people and there's so much work over so much time that goes into it. It's so difficult to actually make nothing work. But again, this movie, I'm pretty sure that the crew was the cast, and I'm pretty sure that they were just in their house. I mean, I don't see how this could be anything but like a high school project over the summer. I still don't know why it had anything to do with Lizzie Borden. If you want to call it having to do with, I mean, for sake of argument, the movie is technically connected to Lizzie Borden.
No bullshit! It's not.
Well, I mean, look, she's technically she's not really a character, but she's a plot point in the movie. And the movie has so few plot points. Give it this. Even though it's doing it wrong, you have to admit it's a plot point, even though they did it so ineptly.
I've been to the Lizzie Borden house. If you're gonna do the story, do it fucking right. Pick a house that looks like the Lizzie Borden house.
But that would be so easy.
Still, it would make more sense.
Well, and see, this is where I get to the point where I'm like, okay, first of all, it's just distasteful to try to make fiction out of a real tragedy. Secondly, once you get to the point where, okay, what if we made a movie where the supernatural entity was a demon that causes family annihilation? Just like that, because that's what they say. They say that there's a demon that possessed Lizzie Borden. That's why she killed her family. And every time her family returns to this house, for some reason, only in this house, it kills more of her family. And she's the last one, blah, 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 blah.
Just take one step off the property line and you are
and the demon's like, get over here. No, fuck you.
Curse boundaries.
I'm gonna stand right here on the sidewalk and make rude gestures. but like at that point, why don't you just say, well, okay, since we can't get an actual Lizzie Borden style home, we'll just make up our own fucking name.
Yeah.
We'll just make it Jessica Peters. Oh, she's so scary. Why? Why would you do a thing that you can't even? What? Even if it's even as stupid and tasteless as it is, you just couldn't fucking afford it. So why would you not change it and make it more of your own? Make it your thing.
Because that would require genuine creativity and effort, and that is not that
true. True. They didn't. They really did nothing.
Like, I'm starting to wonder, was this, did they come up with this movie beforehand? Like, well, did they have a comprehensive plan of what this movie was going to be? Or did they just use this as an excuse to have vacation at a nice home and then go, oh shit, yeah, we need to make a horror movie. This, and this. There you go.
I don't know, because the way they talk when they're like, oh, and Mike was visiting from his parents' house in the Hamptons. And I'm like, you people really talk like that, don't you? You really are just like yuppie scumbags. And I hate all of you.
I think, what was it? I think I have the message. Like, literally, I was live messaging him as I'm watching this. I said, oh, yeah. Can we talk about like the horrendous shaky cam that just went throughout the entire movie? Have these people ever heard of a tripod? Even a monopod, for God's sake. There's continuous shaking.
You know what this honestly kind of felt like? It felt like a bunch of rich kids who wanted to cash in on not so much cash in, but they wanted to ride the trend because that's what rich kids do, of found footage movies. I feel if you look at this movie like they were going to make a found footage movie, it makes so much more sense, because a lot of it feels like there's no real script. Like there's a timeline for events to take place, but a lot of it feels like it wasn't really written until right then. And I think that's because it was supposed to be one of those shitty fucking found footage movies where everyone is constantly talking and everyone's ad-libbing and everyone is trying to be the cute, funny character because no one has a character. That's what it feels like. And so I think they were still trying to bring that found footage shaky cam feeling to a movie that no longer required it. The whole thing just feels like, hey, I got an idea to make a movie. Do you guys want to make a movie with me? And all of them were like, sure, why not? We're your hip friends. Please continue liking us. And then it was just like more examples of absolute just mind-blowing incompetence. And it's little shit. Like, okay, they're having that weird, awkward dinner scene that's not, I don't think, supposed to be awkward.
It's not. It's like that. Yeah.
And then there's that moment where, okay, the girlfriend's sitting here, and around the corner, there's her boyfriend, whose name is Michael Caine. I love that so much. But he's sitting there, and for some reason, the lady who's renting out the house to them was like, so how did all of you meet? Because she's a robot. And he starts telling everyone's life fucking story. And he's like, so this is my girlfriend. We met in college. And she's like, yeah, we had a class together. And then we fell in love. Isn't that right, babe? And she like has to get up and lean clear across the corner of the table to kiss him on the neck. And then at first you're like, wow, you did not do any blocking whatsoever. What? Could you not have scooched the chair a little closer to him, or sat on the same damn side?
Were there no practice takes of this?
I know. And then she just kind of stands there awkwardly, like sucking on his neck right in front of everybody, but she's still in that bent over position. And he's like, babe, table etiquette. We talked about this. And I'm like, that's not funny on purpose.
It's not.
You think that's funny on purpose, but I'm laughing because of how terrible everything is right now.
That dinner scene also pointed out something that I hated about this movie, and especially with horror movies in general. Whenever you're talking about a horror movie, the music and the soundtrack is arguably one of the most important things you need, because it's a great way to help build up tension. Not in some, like, even bad horror movies, you can tell when they're trying to build up tension. There's the creepy music building in. You have to know where to put it where. There's like one scene I always like that I saw that I absolutely hated. I think it was the sister leaving the room, or someone leaving the room, and then you can see like the spirit like walking across a doorway. And they did two things wrong with that. Number one, they put stinger music, like garden variety stinger music there, and they zoomed the fuck in on
the zoom. Why with this? It's the only time.
It is, and I said that is a place where nothing is needed. Like, if you had put no music there and no zoom, I would have given the film credit. That actually would have been a little creepy. That, like, that's Paranormal Activity shit. But the dinner scene, there is no music. And I'm like, it doesn't build tension. It's just awkward. There's no reason for it.
Yeah. Yeah. None of that, I don't think, was supposed to be awkward. And just watching that, everyone is just stiff as a fucking board. And I mean, they're bad throughout the movie. Yeah. But with that scene, it was like, again, it felt like no one had anything actually rehearsed. So everyone kept like checking everyone else to make sure that they weren't stepping over lines. Yeah. Because the camera would cut between every line. This person's going to talk, now this person's going to talk, and that's the only way it cut. There was no intercutting. There was no fluidity. It was just, hey, is it my turn to say something? Well, let me check my script real quick.
I mean, even Shyamalan's awkward, slow pans across the table. even that at least had some semblance. Yeah, it was him trying to be artsy as fuck, but at least it was a shot. And it was better blocked than this.
And there was one moment in the second half of the movie. I'm not sure. I don't think it was close to the end, but there's a moment where sleepwalking girlfriend, because that's all I remember.
These characters are memorable, so they don't deserve names.
No, but sleepwalking girlfriend was like standing in the hallway, the upstairs hallway, and she's just kind of like leaning against the wall with her head crooked. And big sister was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And they pulled this shot from the other side of the room, looking slightly downward at her, and it caught the chandelier wire right where a rope would be tied to her neck visually, like in perspective. And I'm like, is that supposed to look like she's hanging, like we're getting a metaphor here and you finally did something right? Or was this like you just couldn't get the chandelier out of the center of your shot and so you just left it in anyway because it's fine.
No one will notice. It's not like the movie's gonna go on Netflix or something.
Oh God!
Like, I want to be a fly on the wall to the Netflix, like whoever vets these movies to go into Netflix. I want to be a fly on the wall when this film was put on the table.
Vetting seems like a strong word. I'm pretty sure that these distribution companies say, hey, for this much money, we'll give you all these movies for 10 years to put on your free streaming. And Netflix says, you got a deal. Like, I'm sure the one question Netflix says is it porn? And then they're like, well, I mean, there's nudity, but you know, and Netflix is like, because we only allow so much porn.
It's like a stern parent, you know.
Only so much. I mean, look, would it fit in an episode of Sense8? Because if not, that's too porn for us.
That's too much porn.
Oh God. There was, and why? Why was the Lizzie Borden demon picking people off one by one anyway? It's a demon. Lizzie didn't like, and why is she picking off anyone who's not in her family?
It's a classic thing of, oh shit, we got 20 minutes left and this is a horror movie. Better start racking up the body count. Like probably one of like my favorite, you know, I don't even consider it much of a horror film as much as it is an action film. But when you look at how Predator was built up during the first movie, the tension was great. And the body count, like at least for the Predator itself, was pretty much, you know, spaced out across the movie with him killing the squad one by one.
Yes.
That built up tension. That built him up as a credible threat. And it was showing you how terrifying this thing was.
But it also made perfect sense because the whole point was that the Predator is hunting other people.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really a hunt if he just goes off on a psychotic spree and slashes down a hole through it at once. But like something like this, I could understand if they're like, well, maybe I couldn't. I mean, to a degree, I'm like, if they were like, oh, well, it's got to build up its strength and all that shit, and so it can only attack them one by one. And I'm like, yeah, but it's an ethereal entity, and it's not even like a genetic thing. That's the other thing that confused me, because they're like, oh, well, this lady married into the family, so she got. Yeah, so she's not even part of it, except she's also the one who's currently possessed. Well, what the fucking... Then why does it matter that this chick is the last of the Borden's bloodline if the bloodline is fucking irrelevant?
Once again, this broadcast has been brought to you by stupidity. It's everywhere. Get used to it.
Oh my God. It's not a very good movie. But hey, at least there's American Poltergeist 2. And what's another thing? Why is it called American Poltergeist?
Because Lizzie Borden was American.
But it's not even a poltergeist. It's a fucking demon.
It's a demon. Like, honestly, I think something like this it's like one of those rip-off movies that's trying to trick you into thinking it's something that it's something connected to a popular film. It's like you have all those, what was it? The like Marvel bootleg movies that, or the superhero bootleg ones that have come out, and they'll be like, oh yeah, this may remind you of something. It tricks like kind of parents or grandparents going, oh yeah, this is the movie. No, it's not. This is supposed to trick people who've seen the original Poltergeist or something like Paranormal Activity and think, oh yeah, this is a great movie. I remember this when I was younger.
But nobody who watched Paranormal Activity ever said, man, this was a great movie.
At least it had some entertainment value. A little bit. Not
that's a conversation for another day, I think. Because that is a bold statement.
Again, yeah. But anyway, it's like this. It's like every conceivable thing that went wrong with this movie. It's like, yeah, again, their microphone quality was wildly inconsistent. Even
within one scene.
Yeah,
within one scene, it would go from, hi, everything's fine. You guys can hear me now, right? Everything's cool? What? Huh? Oh my God. What? How do you do that? How do you do that in one scene? I get it if like it's the next day and you're setting things up for another shot and now everything sounds like it's underwater. But how you just go in one fucking scene from everything's fine to yes, to that.
To that. Yeah, where I'm like,
just scraping on the microphone. I'm surprised. I didn't see any boom mics. Did you?
No, because that was what I was going to say. During the pool scene, like the guy's like flannel was open and you could clearly see the fucking mic trailing down.
Really?
Yes. It was when he was talking to his girl. It was like right after the, I'm going to push you in. No, I'm going to push you in. It's literally right there. And I'm just like.
And two things about that real quick. That moment might have been the most painful moment of the film for me.
Oh, that moment.
because those two at first are just sitting there like enjoying the weather and just being happy to exist and drinking in the moment, and all of a sudden the angle changes.
Yeah.
And now it's, I'm going to push you in the water. No, I'm going to push you in the water. I'll push you in the water first. You better not, or I'm going to carry you. Oh, you're going to carry me. I'd like to see that. Like, it was the absolute phoniest fucking thing in the entire film.
Whimsy, forced whimsy.
Oh God, it was fucking brutal. And the other thing about that guy, that fucking guy, was he wearing the exact same plaid shirt for the entire film?
I think so.
Because the longer because the movie kept being like day 3, day 4, and I'm like, is that the exact same plaid, or do I just not give a shit? I can't tell.
I think for me, it's because I gave up and I just didn't give a shit. Because like I'm messaging you and I'm just saying, what did I say? I say I don't even think I'm gonna make it longer than you did before I have to take a break. 10 minutes in, I want to kill the cast already. And you just wrote all caps. You will sit there and you will drink it in. Like I could sense you all the way back home, just like feeding off.
Oh yes,
like you're sitting like the emperor in the chair, going, yes.
Your agony fueled me for weeks to come.
Probably fueled your little
friend. It was delicious.
Too.
Oh yes.
Yeah, the wooden bastard.
But man, there was so many moments in this. Like the moment that they tell you, oh yeah, this is a Lizzie Borden house. And the one character who, I don't even know what the fuck character it was, honestly, that was like, I think it was Sleepwalking Girlfriend.
Yeah.
It was all like, what? Who's Lizzie Borden? What do you mean? Look, okay, I get it that you're young and shit, but you're also supposed to be in college.
Damn millennials.
There is no way that you are a 19 to 22-year-old college student and you've never heard of Lizzie Borden.
You've never heard the rhyme. Like I've again never been into creepy shit, but I've heard the rhyme growing up. I've heard about Lizzie Borden.
I honestly think that particular rhyme is like the last real nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
Because I mean they're all about the Black Plague and murdering people and shit like that anyway. And that's the last one that actually happened that caught on. How do you not know that?
Again, that would be saying that these people are educated.
Right, but then they made a whole fucking movie about it. Like, sort of about it. Sort of a movie.
Sort of a movie? That's like they took darts and they were just going, what do we make a movie about? Lizzie Borden. All right, let's go. Who is she again?
Like, there's no way that you think you're... Okay, first of all, there's no way that you think you're the only people who've heard of Lizzie Borden. Secondly, why would you write a movie about Lizzie Borden and then feel like you needed a character to explain to the audience who fucking Lizzie Borden is? Third, if you're going to do that, why the fuck did you not just call your movie The Curse of Lizzie Borden or something like that?
I mean,
because that's going to get so... But then you're hiding your whole premise the entire time.
It's like the biggest crime I think this movie's committed above anything else. You know, a lot of the stuff we've been complaining about was technical in nature, you know, and with story writing and everything. But really what comes down to it, the biggest crime about this movie, it's just boring. It is beyond...
It is incredible watching someone make a movie about demonic possession that you can totally ignore while playing Word Womp on Pogo.
Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just like, fuck, you gotta back it up real quick. What happened? I heard a stinger noise. Did I miss something?
Literally, I was literally staring at this going, my God, I wish you were real. Why didn't the finger snap take care of you?
Wouldn't that have been amazing?
Oh, I would have literally written a thank you note to Thanos. I would have penned the letter, handed it to him myself, risked death by his purple hands, just to say thank you for destroying this abomination of a film. Because God,
and that's the worst part of it. Like when you make something that is so distasteful.
Yeah.
And just as an aside, for anybody who's not happy with me saying that, everything I know they make a lot of shitbag movies about garbage shit like Dahmer versus Gacy. That's hilarious. They're in hell. Yeah, it's not really funny because they murdered a lot of real fucking people. And it's just like with American Horror Story, whether you think the terrible writing is good or not, when they're writing stories about what if the Louisiana Axeman had a heart of gold? No, fuck you. The Louisiana Axeman was goddamn terrifying. Every time that a show like that says, what if we made a thing based on a real life serial killer who murdered a lot of people? No, fuck you. That's not cool.
I'm interested to see what your take on Gotham by Gaslight would be then, since they took Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, I'm not... Every Jack the Ripper thing, I'm like... It's one thing to make some shit up based on what real life people have done.
Yeah, that's where I would say the good stories.
That's why the Texas Chainsaw stuff doesn't bother me so much, because it's based on a story. It's not actually meant to be the real shit that happened. That I don't mind, because that's still fiction, and every story is derivative of some other story.
Yeah.
What bothers me is when you're like, hey, this real life maniac, now he's like, it's like shit like Jack the Ripper in the Old West. What the fuck? Why?
Wait, whoa.
Why did that
exists?
Of course.
Oh my
Of
god.
course. And it's not even anything to do with Jack the Ripper, really. It's just like, we're going to name our movie something fucking provocative. Well, stop it. Stop doing that shit.
That's almost as stupid as making a movie about a killer snowman and calling it Jack Frost. Oh, wait, that happened.
That happened twice.
Oh.
And the second time was, oh, you didn't know about the second one?
Oh, I knew about the second one.
I was going to say, the second one's in like Hawaii or some shit.
Oh, yeah, because...
Yeah, because that's not... Because the thing is, like, I think the first one knew it was kind of stupid, and the second one didn't know why the first one was funny. It would
People love it.
Well, because, like, you know how, like, Tommy Wiseau is all like, oh no, it was supposed to be a comedy from the start, and you're like, no, it was not. If he were to make a sequel, he would try to make it bad, which is why it wouldn't be any fun.
It wouldn't be as funny because it's like you have those movies that are so bad it's good, and it's just because obviously you have people going into this like saying, oh yeah, it was intentionally made that way. I'm like, no, these mistakes are like, you can clearly tell where they were trying to go. It just didn't really work out that way.
Well, and that's another thing. I've grown to have a real problem with the phrase "so bad it's good," because it's not good. It's so bad it's enjoyable. That's two different things. Nothing ever actually circles around to being good again. That's not what happens. What happens is it gets so bad and so just inept that you can't help but have a good laugh for the next 80 to 90 minutes. That's what happened.
My God, I wish this movie was that.
Oh, God, yes. But again, it's when you have nothing. Because, these were obviously a bunch of rich kids who didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with being a little rich kid. That's fine. But if you're going to make a movie, have an idea and a budget. And if your budget can't afford for you to make a haunting movie, either figure it out or make a different movie.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Yeah, honestly, I and even going to some of the kills, I mean, it was very clear your effects were very limited with what you were going to do. So what I would have said was, ignore this whole, like, Photoshop smudge. Congratulations, you almost, and when I say almost, I mean a third of the way, got to where the original Mummy movie was with with Vosloo opening up his mouth real wide. Yeah. You almost got there.
Yeah.
Not really.
And I was like, well, at least they had a sort of an idea for the aesthetic they wanted for the monster. But the monster doesn't fucking show up for an hour, 10 minutes. So who cares? Because that's another thing. If you can't build any kind of, if you're not, well, not even just tension, but even story, because it wasn't until the last 20 minutes or so that they were like, oh, by the way, it's Lizzie Borden, and she was possessed by a demon. And you're like, well, fucking, I want to just watch that movie then.
Yeah.
Why not just make a movie about some poor sap that gets possessed by a demon and is forced to kill their own family and keep them conscious? Make them watch the demon use their body to kill their fucking family. Do that.
Yeah. It's like, who would have thought we could ever have a good story with a demon possessing someone? Oh, wait, we did. It was called The Exorcist.
In fact, if you take that premise where a demon annihilates a family just to put one guy through it and make him held accountable for crimes that he didn't commit and they're the crimes against those he loves most, you could take elements of the Lizzie Borden scenario, you could take elements from the Amityville murder. Yep. All that fun shit where you can take aspects of what happens during an annihilation and throw in some pizzazz with the paranormal demonic shit, and you've got yourself what could be a really compelling story for a 90-minute movie. And it's not a case of, 100 years ago a scary thing happened and now it won't. It's not that. It's not nothing. Now you've actually got characters to write and develop and a plot to move us through. and the demon has an actual fucking motive. Even if the motive is just torment this human soul, at least you know what it's fucking trying to do.
Yeah, it's just there was no rhyme or reason to what Lizzie the demon was doing at all with these characters. Again, you pointed out, it's just they went and killed people who are not even connected to this entire thing. They're just disposable friends. Like literally as the party was going on and they came in, I'm like, oh, here's the kill list. There's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4.
Here's my friends that I could get for the weekend.
Oh, and did you best face of the entire movie? This was probably the only moment I legit chuckled. Was the sauna murder, where the guy is in the sauna and the ghost is like right outside, and no lie, I think his face was something like,
yeah, he had to smash his own face up against the glass to see it because the lighting was just
terrible.
Yeah, and why would you do it? At that point, doesn't the director look at that shot while filming it and go, you know what? This just isn't working. Doesn't he say, yeah, this looks fucking silly.
Yep.
Like, and that's not, and again, the screenplays that I've written have been horror comedies. You know, I like a bit of humor in my tragedy, but if you're not going for a comedic tone, you know what? That's just it. This whole thing doesn't know. I think the one thing that they just didn't understand was tone.
Yeah.
I think that's why they thought to go ahead with this thing that had no character ambition. Hell, when older sister is talking to Michael Caine, and I'm never going to stop saying it.
I love how you said name. Now all I will see in my mind is the good Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Why do we fall down, Master Bruce?
Listen to me, sister. You're being haunted by the ghost of Lizzie Borden.
Well, no, totally backwards, because the girl's all like, listen, I'm the most rational member of our family, and I think something guided your girlfriend into the basement last night. And he's like, that's fucking stupid. I mean, he didn't say it, but
well, I mean, yeah,
basically what he did. And I'm like, hear her out. Were they in the basement or not? Because yes, they were. And your argument is literally, what, you mean the basement that's locked and there is no key? Yes! That's what's weird. Because the basement's not been busted into. So maybe you look into it?
I love how you're getting more mad at this than I am.
Well, it's what happens eventually. I just get fucking like...
I think you're just fresh off this movie because I watched it 2 days ago. And I think, oh yeah, I did crack. There was one... As soon as they said this was Lizzie Borden, I honestly just went.
Yes, the messages that I got as soon as they said, "Oh, this is the Lizzie Borden house."
Any member of my family, I full on screamed in frustration. I let out like the most pain, tortured scream. And I'm just like, there is no saving this movie. I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt and just been like, okay, maybe there's something about it. As soon as it got there, I'm like, there's no hope. There is no God.
And like it's so bizarre because they talk about, at that point, they start talking about how, oh yeah, this demon possessed Lizzie Borden, and now every time its family members come into this house, the demon returns and slaughters them. Yeah. Okay, first of all, why does it only return in Lizzie Borden's form? Because if Lizzie wasn't the killer, then why does it always use her form? Why does it not just possess people and take their form?
Yeah, just have it be a shapeless entity.
Yeah, and it possesses people. So you wouldn't even need a person to play that part.
I mean,
and then... Like, go ahead.
I mean, like in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, that they established that the creature was not Freddy Krueger. It was an entity. It was evil, but it preferred the image of Freddy Krueger to carry out the kills.
Yeah, it liked that form.
Yes. So it's like there you're establishing something with this entity that we really didn't know that much about. And again, it took me a couple watches of New Nightmare to fully understand what I was seeing, but at least there,
But
even
at least
the
it wasn't boring. So you're willing to watch it more than once. It just there was just so much. Okay. So they talk about how this demon's been doing this for over 100 years now. But then why was there buildup in this? Why wasn't this demon just bam? By the way, I'm a powerful motherfucker, and I just showed up. I've been doing this for 100 years. You guys don't even know what's coming.
With sunglasses, sideways gun.
It's
the wall
it's
like
suddenly,
the Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah,
it's suddenly fucking James Gandolfini. I've been possessing in their families for years now. You guys got no idea what's coming at you.
Meanwhile, Michael Caine's putting on his best shirt.
Oh god. Now that's a movie.
It's the Spectre.
That's a movie I would watch.
I would watch that.
Demon James Gandolfini versus Demon Slayer Kine.
Yes,
that is a movie that we should definitely make.
Like, it's bad enough. Like, the thing is, I think we had a discussion. I think I was watching like old Goosebumps on Netflix at the time before you had me watch this movie, and I said the cheesy Canadian TV show made for kids knew how to build tension and character, even for their monsters, better than this.
Yes. Well, again, but that was written by people who had an idea of how to tell stories. That was produced by people who had a sense of structure, at least on the small scale for television.
Yeah.
You know, it was made by people who had an idea of what they were doing and gave a shit about it.
And knew what
that
to
was
make.
The other thing. Not only does this movie feel like it has no tone all the way throughout,
has no identity,
but it has no, like, I'd be interested to find out who exactly gets credit for writing it. Because, like, you know, I've written things where people have said certain lines or made certain jokes, and I'm like, I'm stealing that for this movie, but I wouldn't give them a writing credit for a line. You know what I mean? So, I would love to know who actually gets the writing credit on this, and sit them down and say, what was the process? Because I feel like you just it feels like you just went through the fucking numbers. Like you just said, all right, we're doing this part, then this part, then this part. And sister and brother have to argue because his super logical sister believes in ghosts now for no reason. And his girlfriend has some kind of sleep disorder and it doesn't really matter. And
yeah. What was that movie? What was the one with the haunted mirror? Oculus. That was it. If you want to do that with the logical sibling and the superstitious sibling, that's how you do it. Or at least establish right now from the get-go, like, yes, now, okay, the sister is the rational one. Why don't you change that and have it be that she's more superstitious? That leans more credence to having her brother ignore her and brush off her worries. Or because if your sister has zero, if your sister is as rational as you blatantly threw out there,
and she's the one who said it, by the way. I'm more rational than anyone in this family. Thank you.
Then you have no reason to doubt her. As show that she was weird from the get-go. Maybe have her hear about the area in Fall River. Like, again, everyone likes to think all New England towns are haunted for some reason.
Well, not for some reason. It's because New England is a horrible fucking place.
You watch it.
Oh, not white people? Let's make sure that we murder all of them slowly and as agonizingly as possible for a couple of 100 years. Fuck it. We'll throw in some torture. Let's torture some white people too, actually, now that we think about it. But not as many.
You're going to torture every...
Yeah. So that's why. But, you know, witches and all, and Indians and...
Well, yeah,
people and everybody. Everybody. Are you white? Yeah. Well, do you own any land? Well, not yet. All right, come over here. We're gonna throw you in a fucking stockade.
Come on down. You're the next contestant on Is It Haunted?
But like, I just it's kind of like when you've got that kid that won't talk to you, but is like constantly smoking in the boys' room and spraying graffiti on the school walls and shit. And you just want to like grab him and shake him like, what is wrong?
What is wrong with you?
What? Tell me what your fucking damage is so we can fix you so you don't grow up digging ditches and shit. Like I want to take the whole everyone who worked on this movie and just be like, what were you fucking thinking? What was the plan?
Just sit down, have a poster of the movie right next to you, and all you gotta do is just one thing. No.
Yeah, just point at it. Not even point. I just kind of like want to shove it in all their faces and be like, what is this? What did you fucking do? And why did you show people? Why did you put this on Netflix?
I feel this is the kind of movie, it's like the One Ring of Power. You try to throw this movie in the fire, it won't burn. It won't be destroyed. Because even the fire doesn't want it.
Oh my God.
This is the one movie. This is the one movie, Master Bruce.
It's one movie. It's the only movie you got left, right?
Like, forged in the boredom of the writer's room.
Like, I would love... I feel like if I had $10,000, I would find these people and I would say, all right, listen, we're going to make a movie that doesn't suck.
Number one.
and you're all going to be in it to prove my point that if you fucking try,
anyone can make a movie.
You can make a fucking movie.
And they failed.
I would make sure that they made a real fucking movie.
Like, I'm tempted to watch the sequel.
Okay, here's the thing about the sequel. You know how we discussed earlier where American Poltergeist is a title that means nothing?
Yep.
And has no relevance to what you're about to watch?
Let me guess, this has no connection to the first movie.
This was made by different people in a different style. It's nothing. It's not a sequel. It's not like different people made a sequel to American Poltergeist.
It's like it's just an anthology.
No, it's just somebody made another movie, and the distributors just called it American Poltergeist 2.
Oh, so like Blair Witch 2.
Well, that was made to be a sequel. It was just not good. No, this would be like if you made Batman.
Yeah.
And you call it The Flash for some reason. and then you make, let's say, Mr. Miracle. And call it The Flash 2.
Well, at least he's wearing red.
Yeah, and you're like, but this has nothing to do. And you're like, yeah, but they're both superheroes. And you're like, but neither of them have anything to do.
This doesn't work.
With even the title, let alone each other. Oh, yeah, but it's the second one. No, it's fucking not. It's just a different thing. Yeah, I'm telling you, you're going to watch it. In fact, when you get around to it, you might actually be distraught at the lack of production value.
How bad are we talking?
Well, think about how much production value there isn't in American Poltergeist.
And it's worse.
Yes. Because again, with this, it's like they just didn't consider it. Like it just went over their heads to that production even requires effort. Like they just didn't.
Like amateurs out the gate, they didn't think about any of this.
Right. This one, the sequel feels a lot more like we need to crank something out so that our contract doesn't expire. So let's cut as many corners as possible and hope that we can edit something together in time. That's the sequel.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's
No, he can't save me now.
No, not from that.
Not from that.
So here's the question. Here's the question, Mr. Cinema.
Oh dear. Oh beer. I wish you would save me.
Did you like it?
For the inevitable audio track that I'm probably going to make of this, whether or not we make this podcast format or not, I am currently holding both middle fingers and putting it right into the camera. You look at them. I just sit for an hour and 18 minutes. You're going to look at them.
It's only an hour and 18 minutes. It feels a little longer, doesn't it?
Yeah, it felt soul sucking. I know a movie's bad when I'm legitimately checking my watch. The first time I checked my watch, it was 8 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
I kid you not.
Yeah, like how many times while you weren't watching the movie but you were listening to it and they're just talking, how many times throughout this film did you just go, oh my god, come on? And then you look at the movie to see why this scene isn't going.
To my credit, I made a concerted effort to watch this entire film. And that was my mistake.
I respect you for that.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, please tell. I think it was like a naive hope that maybe there was something of value in here, that you had to dig down under all this crap and maybe there was like this one little gleaming detail that was good. But there's nothing in this movie that was worth it. I mean, even the last one we did, Frankenstein's Army, creature creations were pretty cool. They looked pretty interesting. That's pretty much all I can say about Frankenstein's Army. That's it. The rest of the movie fucking sucked. This one, there's not even that. The monster didn't even look good. And I'm just like...
And it didn't do anything.
No!
It stood.
It did...
In the back.
It did a Photoshop smudge.
I'm not really sure the monster gets credit for that. That might be the art department.
Look, I know how to use Photoshop.
Yeah, I don't really give that as monster credit.
Yeah. Oh God. This was just bad. And I don't even know how we can.
But it gives you hope, right?
It gives me hope that someone watches this and learns maybe through mental scarring.
No one
to do it.
No, if those people watch this and listen to this, they're just good. First of all, they're not going to listen to the whole thing. Secondly, they're just going to get mad at us.
Yeah.
For telling them, the thing you made is just trash. But it gives you hope that, hey, if these people can make that and feel no shame whatsoever about putting that on Netflix, then when we get around to making a movie, it's good. We're going to be able to say, hey, it's not the worst thing on Netflix.
At least it's not American Poltergeist.
Yes, so somebody is clearly going to make our movie. Someone's clearly going to distribute it because this happened.
Yeah, I mean, like they say it's like horror is like one of the easiest like genres to kind of rope people in, and I know that's not true. Yeah. But compared to other ones, at least you can kind of sucker people in with a trailer and just be like, okay, maybe someone is going to watch this. Maybe someone's going to bite and watch it. But yeah, there has to be a soul to it. No, no pun intended. The movie has to have a little bit of soul.
That's true.
And
you've got to have something there. And this has just nothing.
Zilch. So
I guess we could have just said that an hour ago.
Yeah. We here's your spoiler-free review of the film. Fucking sucks. Don't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it.
So the question is, did you hate it?
Yes.
And I hated it too, and I hate it for making me watch it.
Do you have an assignment? for
Ooh.
next time. So in the next 2 years, we can get together and do this one
In
more
the
time.
Hopefully, it's not as long of a wait. Hopefully. Oh god, off the top of my head, I can't think of one right now. But because I probably should have. I could have made the safe bet and say, let's watch the sequel, but nope, we're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna take the easy way. I'm gonna comb through, find the worst movie that I can find on Netflix, and then I'm gonna make you suffer with me.
Sounds like a good time to me.
At least you've got comfort.
I do.
Anyway, well, hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Odds are what we're probably going to do. We don't know what we're doing with this, whether this is going to stay up on YouTube or make this a audio format. But with YouTube cracking down on my channel the way it is, we have no idea. But odds are I'll still be making these fun videos with old Maxie here. He'll enjoy torturing me, and I'll enjoy torturing him all the same. It's this ruthless cycle. It's a three-way cycle because he's got another accomplice at home.
You're still bitter. Because the puppet bested you. And we'll have to sort that out someday.
Cosmic punch to the wooden face. I will have my revenge. There will be a reckoning.
You keep saying that.
There's a reckoning coming. I may have something for him to look at later. All right,
that
you have a good
really
day.
Rapey.
Wait, what?
That sounded really rapey. I may have something for him to look at later.
God damn, I hate you. Anyway, well, thank you for coming on. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a fantastic evening, and don't watch this movie. Don't do it.
Good luck, kids.
Everyone.